Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, July 31st, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please get the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card that we are starting off with today is the Tower. So one of the things that may be coming through right now is working through some feelings of crisis or trauma that need to be appreciated, recognized, processed, worked through. We do not fear the Tower. I want to stress this. I know everyone gets all worried when they see this card arriving, but I want to point out Tower moments are important because they help you navigate in terms of how to move forward. This is a moment of potentially having to experience some re-triggering of past trauma that you're navigating right now to help you as you proceed forward from this point, or currently actively experiencing some point of crisis that you're currently working to navigate or mitigate. Let's continue to get clarification on these cards right now. Next card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is King of Swords energy. So this is going to feel a little bit different depending on whether you align to feminine or masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that you are employing a lot of this sense of strength, that there may be a moment right now of feeling some level or degree of pressure under crisis. But what we appreciate this for the masculine energy is this is really allowing you to come forward right now from a point of integrity, standing in your own power as you continue to navigate some situations or circumstances that could be triggering or traumatizing at this moment. While for feminine energy right now, this is you navigating this within yourself as well. There could be a lot of trauma that's potentially rising to the surface right now, but you're doing your best to navigate that, either working currently to manifest masculine energy that you feel embodies this quality right now, or potentially working in union right now with masculine energy that you similarly are experiencing this moment, that you are navigating some difficult situations in union at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, third card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread is, we like seeing this card here. This is our center card for our spread right now, which is our 9 of Pentacles. What we really like and appreciate about this right now, and I need to stress this, is while you may be experiencing some of these moments, what we really see right now is a point of navigating through this energy or area of crisis at this time, with a focus right now in creating a sense of peace and maintaining a sense of peace. A lot of attention being paid to your immediate environment and how to get back into this level point. One of the things that we've been identifying a lot right now as it relates to this Venus in retrograde energy is a lot of experiences right now coming to the surface to allow you a point of better orientation as you proceed forward on your path at this time. For masculine energy right now, this could be some of those hurdles and difficulties that we see that you've been experiencing over the last few days. This could be feeling like you're trying to create a sense of balance between situations or scenarios that you feel are reaching some point of critical mass or crisis point, while also trying to maintain a level or degree of peace, of balance, of stability in the wake of those situations and scenarios. And this is really requiring the masculine energy to a certain degree to employ a deep level of integrity and strength as you navigate these circumstances or situations. This could even be a moment for the masculine energy where you feel like your sense of integrity is being called forward right now to help you through some situations or circumstances that you feel have reached some point of crisis. While for feminine energy, we're identifying right now a moment that you yourself are similarly experiencing some situations or scenarios that are proving to be somewhat challenging for you at this time. However, you are also working very hard on maintaining your own degree of peace and stability throughout it, either working right now in union with masculine energy that is working to do the same, or working to manifest this type of energy around you at this time as you move away from circumstances or situations that you have ultimately decided are creating too much chaos, too much difficulty for you at this time. For both masculine and feminine energy, what we really appreciate in this moment is there's this concentration of effort and energy towards keeping a level of degree of peace and stability and balance in your own life as you proceed forward from this point, even in the face of situations or circumstances that may be feeling like they are providing or creating a bit of a challenge at this time, but with an orientation of the fact that you're navigating away from anything that you feel is causing too much degree of this, with a very keen observation or eye on what you identify and experience, allows for the sense of peace and restoration as you go forward from this point. Next card we have coming through right now in our 5-card spread, fourth card for our day today is the Death card. So we're seeing that this is that moment of transformation. We've been seeing this coming through in the cards over the last few days. You may have been seeing the fact that with a lot of that 10-card energy that we've been seeing right now, this is that moment that we are experiencing a point of transformation, allowing some of this transformation energy to occur at this time, to allow for this space and place right now of really identifying what feels comfortable for you, what creates a sense of peace, versus anything that you are feeling is creating too much of a difficulty, too much of a hurdle. This is that moment that is allowing this change to come forward right now, but all to the extent of working to build this level of stability for yourself at this time. For masculine energy right now, what we're really seeing is this is really calling upon you, identifying and utilizing that sense of strength and integrity throughout this moment, moving with a lot of purpose and clarity as you work to maintain this level of peace and ability for yourself, even in the face of some changes. While for feminine energy, we see that this is a moment that you are again working to manifest this same sense of peace and stability for yourself at this moment, either in collaboration with a masculine energy that you identify is also able to stand in their integrity during this time, or working to manifest this type of energy towards yourself in this moment, even through some situations that are requiring some change. Fifth card coming through right now in our 5-card spread is, we have here our 5 of Swords in its reversal. This is some situation or circumstance that is a point where you may be feeling called to go back to some situations or circumstances that may have been causing some difficulty or some challenges or some hurdles at this time. But what we really identify is happening at this moment is this is your conviction, not necessarily to go back to situations or circumstances that have been causing too much pain, too much difficulty, as you keep a focus right now very much in terms of what you feel is creating a sense of peace and stability for yourself at this moment. This is going to feel like some challenging energy today is what we're really identifying. For masculine energy, this is calling upon you to really stand in your point of stability and security as you continue from this point, potentially even trying to defend that in some way, shape, or form, be it in your conversations or in your actions at this moment. While for feminine, as I said, this is a moment that you're either working to manifest stabilizing masculine energy that allows you to maintain some level of peace or stability in your life at this time, versus any situations or circumstances that you are identifying as creating too many challenges at this moment. But for the feminine energy, this is truly a commitment not to go back to circumstances or situations that have caused too many pain, too much difficulty at this moment. Now let's see if we can get some clarification on the cards that we're seeing right now. Clarification coming through right now between our Tower energy in combination with our King of Swords energy. For masculine and feminine, this will feel like a bit different. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what you feel most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment of really standing in your power, holding to your integrity, holding fast in the midst of situations or circumstances that may be proving to be too much of a challenge at this moment, or working to mitigate some situations that you feel have reached a level of crisis at this time. While for feminine energy, this is again, you also either working in collaboration with masculine energy that is simultaneously going through some experiences that are proving quite challenging for them. This could even be recognizing masculine energy around you that is doing this in some capacity, while the other part of the feminine energy right now is working right now through their own internal sense of crisis at this time, while also navigating, working to manifest strong masculine energy that is able to stand in their integrity right now, even through any difficulties or hurdles. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Sun in its reversal. This is what we're seeing as one of the big challenges about this circumstances or situations today. For masculine energy, what we're really identifying right now is this is a moment that you're trying to stand in your integrity, but you're also feeling some sense of emotional dysregulation as it relates to what you're experiencing thus far. You're working to navigate some feelings of crisis or some feelings mitigating some issue right now that is causing this degree of difficulty for you at this moment. But it is also very hard because the reason you have to stand in your integrity at this time is it also has your own emotionality in a place that feels like it is hard to find the bright spot in this. Again, this is why we see that whatever these circumstances or situations are, it is really kind of calling you you into a sense or a path of trying to find a point of peace. And this is where we see that the masculine energy is working from at this time. They're trying to maintain their own level and peace to a certain degree at this time, even through some situations or circumstances that are affecting their own emotionality or their own sense of positivity at this moment. But we do appreciate for the feminine and masculine energy that is in union, this is a unified working. This is a unified goal that you're working to achieve. There are some setbacks, there are some frustrations that are coming through today, but you're finding that point of balance by working in terms of what feels comfortable, continuing to build that immediate level of stability and support around you at this moment as you proceed forward from some situations that have kind of reached a point of crisis. While for the feminine energy right now that is not in union, this is a moment that you are working to maintain that same level of degree of balance for yourself at this time. This is in the wake of some experiences. Again, either feeling the trigger point rising back up to the surface today, having to manage or mitigate some situations or circumstances that have reached a level of crisis that may also be affecting your own opinion or your own level of positivity today. But if you are in union, you are getting that level of support from a very strong masculine energy that is simultaneously experiencing the same setbacks, the same hurdles. You are energizing each other back and forth, giving one another support during this difficult time. While for the feminine energy that is not in union at this moment, this is working to manifest this type of energy towards you at this time while keeping your focus on your own sense of peace, on your own sense of stability, even in the face of some emotional setbacks that may be triggered from situations from the past rising to the surface today, or effectively moving away from situations or circumstances that you feel are causing too much of this crisis energy. Now, let's see if we can get further clarification on these cards right now. Clarification coming through right now with our King of Swords in combination with our Nine of Pentacles energy. So what we really appreciate here for masculine energy, one of the ways that you're helping yourself navigate some of the feelings that you're experiencing today, which is again, observing and working through some setbacks, some hurdles, some feelings of crisis at this time that may be making your own sense of positivity have that point of failure, which is like that double tower with the combination of the Sun card in its reversal. You are really just focusing on what is allowing that sense of peace, on stability, on just operating right now, on creating and maintaining that peace and stability around yourself at this moment. While for feminine energy right now that is in union, you are effectively lending support potentially to a masculine energy that you see is doing this. A lot of unified concentration on efforts in maintaining this level of peace and stability at this time. For the feminine and masculine energy, this is going to feel a little different because for the feminine energy, this is something that you are keeping your focus right now specifically on. And we've seen this in the daily collective read and in the collective readings over the last few days. Feminine energy has just been focusing. Feminine energy has just been focusing on their own sense of peace, on their own sense of stability. If they are in union with the masculine energy, you are working through right now and overcoming these hurdles, but this is that grounding force that the feminine energy has found itself in over the last few days. A lot of concentration right now on maintaining that level and degree of stability at this time, working to manifest this very strong masculine energy that works from a place of integrity, or experiencing the active point of union with such energy at this time. While for masculine, this is also a lot of concentration right now, even while in union, on maintaining that point of stability at this moment. So a lot of concentration that we're going to be seeing today on just maintaining status quo, building that sense of balance, keeping that sense of balance very much intact at this time, even through a lot of setbacks and hurdles. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Three of Swords in its reversal, which we love to see because this is that point of healing that we are going through right now. For masculine and feminine energy right now, what we're really identifying is there has been some feelings of crisis. There has been a point of navigating some situations or circumstances that are challenging. But for the energies that are working in union right now, this is that unified goal, working right now to maintain that degree and level of stability, stability, that peace in your own immediate environment to allow for continual healing, and recognizing that the steps that you're taking right now are all towards that same effect or that same goal of unified healing. For the feminine energy that is working in union right now, this is getting some of that masculine support, getting that masculine energy that you can effectively lean on at this time that is helping you continue to heal. While for the feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is working very hard on your own sense of stability right now. As we keep saying, only allowing in masculine energy that is showing the same degree and capacity of integrity at this time, all for the effect of deeper healing. While for masculine energy at this time, this is simultaneously also a moment that you are keeping a lot of your care and orientation on your immediate environment, on what feels immediately like you can work on at this time. This could even be a lot of concentration today on like things in your immediate home or your immediate environment that you can have an impact on, all to the degree and capacity that you're working on your own healing, potentially from some situations or circumstances that you are experiencing right now that are making some sense of crisis rise to the surface. But again, all towards your highest goal of moving into a space of healing, even though we are recognizing that this healing point is presenting a point of challenge because it is affecting your own emotional moment in terms of being able to build a point of positivity at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Nine of Pentacles in combination with our Death card energy. So this is a point of really allowing certain changes to occur. There could be an observation right now of moving away from circumstances or situations that are becoming too difficult or presenting too many hurdles. But what we really see is we're allowing that energy to flow through. We're allowing that point of transformation to come, building with a lot of care and attention on what feels stabilizing, what feels comfortable, putting a lot of care and energy right now in your own immediate space and the comfort that you're creating thus far for both masculine and feminine energy right now, regardless of whether you are in union or if you are working independently at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with Page of Pentacles in its reversal. One of the things that could be feeling like a bit of a challenge at this time is this moment that you are recognizing situations or circumstances that you don't necessarily see are coming forward in the way that you would ideally desire at this point. For both masculine and feminine energy, there is this feeling of allowing some point of adjustment or transformation to occur in the light or in the experience of, again, either pulling away from some of those circumstances or situations that you are experiencing are causing too much difficulty, too many challenges at this time, versus places or spaces where you might simultaneously also be feeling the frustration of something not coming forward the way that you would have hoped or intended at this time. What we appreciate for both masculine and feminine energy is you're not allowing this to become a blocker for you at this moment. Rather, you are building a lot of care and orientation right now in any changes that you may need to make at this moment to help build a sense of comfort in the space or in the space of some of the adjustments that you're making at this time. And that is related to those offers that are either haven't come forward the way that you would ideally intend, or some adjustment period in terms of what you yourself are offering circumstances that you are potentially feeling are creating too much of a challenge or too much of a difficulty at this moment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Death card in combination with our Five of Swords in its reversal. What we really appreciate here is this isn't a moment of going backwards. Rather, what we're seeing right now is a moment that for both masculine and feminine energy, you are recognizing a point of circumstances or situations that may have caused some degree of crisis in the past. They may have caused some degree of difficulty, but everything that we are recognizing here is that you are allowing a point of adjustment to occur right now because either something is feeling too much, like a circumstance or situation that may have caused you difficulties or problems from the past, or simultaneously, you are recognizing a circumstance or situation that is reaching a point of crisis. However, you're not letting that effectively block you. You're not letting yourself kind of go back to the tower moment is what we really appreciate here. Rather than letting yourself go back to the tower moment, you are allowing yourself to change. You are allowing yourself to transform. Not repeating any cycles that you may have experienced in the past, but letting those past cycles, letting those past traumas, letting those past difficulties actually lend insight to you as it relates to how you have to adjust your path going forward from this point. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our 7 of Cups. And if this looks a little bit familiar, that's because we pulled it for our card of the day today. This is that point that I think is really important that we're identifying here, which is this moment right now for both masculine and feminine that is actually helping you really understand your higher purpose, your higher calling, the path that you're really trying to move into at this point. And it is this moment that does feel like some of this confusion is rising to the surface. But the confusion that you're experiencing at this time, you are effectively working through some of that confusion actively at this moment. This is what we often see, again, bearing in mind that there is this point of balance that we're working to maintain at this time. There are these moments right now that just as you feel like you find that you see that path ahead, just as you believe you see that clear path, suddenly there's opportunities or moments that fall around you right now that are meant to confuse you or create this sense of confusion around you at this time. However, what we appreciate here is some of this tower moment that we see that you're going through right now is helping you build better orientation in terms of helping you choose your path going forward right now, recognizing the changes that you need to effectively make. But what we appreciate about this is the changes that you're making right now is in terms of the choices that you're making. You are allowing that transformational change to help navigate you in the choices that you need to make going forward, not allowing yourself to operate from a space of delusion or going back to situations or circumstances that may have caused any difficulty or degree of pain or hardship for you in the past. Masculine and feminine energy, what we really appreciate about this moment right now is you are utilizing a present tower situation to help you go into a point of transformation in that recognizing of the past experiences that were simultaneously also attached to some of the feelings that you're experiencing right now. And this is what is informing your choices going forward. This is like a high degree of energy coming through right now in allowing change to come through to help you navigate the path going forward. All to the extent of, as we get this clarification, healing and working to brighter outcomes. Now, clarification right now coming through between our 3 of Swords in its reversal in combination with the Sun card. What we're really seeing here is that healing is difficult. Healing is a difficult path. It is sometimes met with not necessarily feeling a great point of optimism, but this is even talking to a certain degree of having to unpack some deeper traumas, some deeper wounds right now, some of this tower energy that we're effectively seeing at this time. But you are allowing yourself some of this like what could feel like unhappiness or a feeling of some kind of sadness coming into the surface right now, but you're allowing yourself to experience it in its full expression, all for this goal of higher healing, working continually right now to heal, recognizing those spaces and places that may have caused some degree of hurt, some degree of difficulty. We're almost seeing like a lot of shadow work energy that's coming to the surface right now, but all to the goal of your highest work in terms of healing your heart space, even as situations are triggering you at this moment. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our High Priestess, which is what we love to see. Can we just take a look right now between the masculine and feminine cards that we've got coming through to the surface today? We've got here our King of Swords in combination with our High Priestess, which are 2 cards that we like to see, especially in the midst of tower energy, because what we're seeing here is not the fact that you have to go and undergo or experience some sense of crisis at this time. It's not the fact that there aren't some challenges that are coming to the surface right now. But what I see and identify right now that is very important is not only are we experiencing a moment either from the past, thank you for the gift, rising to the surface right now that is triggering some of this past trauma to come back up, that may be even affecting your own sense of confidence or positivity at this moment. You're not letting that energy get stuck in that space. Instead, you are transforming it. You are allowing it to, you are utilizing it to the best of your abilities at this time. Masculine energy is utilizing this moment to stand in their power, to stand in their integrity, to stand towards their convictions, even in the face of circumstances that are challenging their ability to do so. Similarly, for feminine is experiencing this more on an emotional moment. There's some emotional setbacks here that are challenging the feminine. The reason some of this tower energy is so triggering right now is it's not just the fact that it's an external situation that may be causing some sense of crisis or difficulty at this moment, but it is also triggering on the emotional level. This could be reigniting some past trauma or making you have some point of lack of optimism or positivity at this time. But feminine simultaneously is utilizing that movement out of the heart space, not letting themselves get caught in the emotions at this time, but allowing themselves to have that higher degree of logic-based intuitive thinking to help them move to a space of healing. Masculine and feminine are moving away from the challenge, or they're experiencing it together and working in union at this time, all for the sense of deeper healing. For masculine, this challenge point is raising their own degree of having to stand towards your convictions and your goals at this time. While for feminine, this could be feeling like a little bit of disassociative energy, because what we're really identifying that's happening right now is you're being put into a space where you are navigating, using your intuition, using that higher knowledge to help you work towards what you feel is healthy and healing for you at this time, versus any situations or circumstances that you feel are not necessarily leading you to that highest alignment. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Three of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. This is feeling like we're seeing here some of the active healing that is occurring right now, because what we appreciate about this is this point of healing is coming through at this time. And it is a personal journey, and it is requiring you either to experience a moment that you are working through some sense of healing that is required around some circumstance or situation that you feel you have not received or has not been offered to you. But it is also potentially a moment that you are pulling your own energy back right now, all for the sake of your own internal healing. So recognizing here, there's a moment that is requiring this point of internal work on healing, even in the face or in the space of not necessarily seeing what you are hoping for from an external level, which is what is potentially challenging so much right now in this point of healing that you're currently working on at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with, we love to see this, our 10 of Cups energy. Again, how are you working right now to manifest through any of these setbacks, any of these difficulties, any of these active challenges that you're currently experiencing, or navigating away from anything that is reaching a point that feels like a bit of a crisis? You are maintaining and working very carefully right now on not only your present sense of comfort at this moment, but working to manifest that long-term future outcome for yourself, even in the wake of situations or circumstances that may be feeling like they are presenting a degree of a challenge for you at this point. For feminine and masculine energy, this is requiring you to move from a space of having a lot of logic as it relates to the circumstances, not letting yourself effectively, what we really like about this spread right now is not letting yourself get caught in situations or circumstances that you feel are creating tower moments at this time. Rather, working either for masculine and feminine that are in union right now. Masculine employing a lot of this standing in integrity, feminine employing this logic-based thinking to help move you away from anything that you feel isn't in alignment, all with a concerted joint effort right now in terms of working towards your higher peace, working towards your higher goals in this moment. For the masculine and feminine energy that is not in alignment right now, there's going to be a lot of care and orientation towards your own self at this time, because as we are seeing for the masculine energy that is feeling like they are reaching a point of crisis right now on their own, you are being called to kind of stand in your integrity at this time, and you're working to do so, all to continue to build this level or degree of peace around you in this moment. Feminine energy that is not in union at this time is simultaneously employing this same energy, but not necessarily utilizing that more aggressive sword energy that we see that the masculine needs to employ at this time. Rather, the feminine's work right now is not allowing their emotionality to leave them or let them stay in situations or circumstances that they feel are causing too much difficulty at this moment. Feminine energy is employing a higher logic-based approach right now to navigate away from circumstances that feel triggering or traumatizing, all focusing on that sense of peace, continuing to build this sense of peace at this time with a lot of care and orientation towards your long-term goals and your long-term manifestation. A lot of working right now potentially in the heart space to identify what that long-term outcome looks like for you so that you can continue to navigate forward towards it from a place of peace and clarity. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Page of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Cups energy. So again, this is that moment. This is actually giving a lot of articulation right now in terms of what we're potentially seeing with that Tower moment, right? Because there are some feelings of crisis right now that are being triggered or inspired. We're making you recall situations from the past, or making you recognize right now an active point of crisis that you are experiencing. And this does potentially have to do with, again, either you pulling your energy from circumstances or situations that you don't feel are in alignment to you right now, or not necessarily seeing that expression of an offer that you are effectively hoping to receive at this time, but feeling some point of confusion here, working through some level or degree of confusion that this is effectively creating in you. But what we appreciate is the fact that you have some level of optics right now. You're working from some level of optics in recognizing that this is a moment that is really, again, calling on you to really trust your own heart space, helping you go further within yourself to identify what it is that you truly seek at this moment. Not letting this become a moment that you are getting caught in a feeling of loss or a feeling of frustration. But what we love about this spread right now is this is navigating away from circumstances or situations, allowing this transformation energy to come in with a degree of concentration on not repeating the mistakes of the past, but instead continuing to focus on your higher goals as you proceed forward from this point, even in the face of circumstances that you feel are not giving forward the way that you would ideally have hoped for, or pulling away from ones that you feel are not that giving you that point of expression in terms of moving you towards that highest aligned path and purpose at this time. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming right now with our Fool in its reversal, which is what we love to see, because what we're really identifying right now for both feminine and masculine energy is this is that moment of trying to move forward, taking a bit of a leap of faith, but utilizing the wisdom that you have taken along the way. You're not necessarily, what we love about this for masculine and feminine energy, and I know you're like saying to me, like, why do we say love when the Tower's in play? Because I know how all of you get when you start seeing Tower cards. It's that moment that you're truly identifying the fact that it's not the fact that there isn't some level of a setback or difficulty that you're currently experiencing. Rather, you are using that setback or difficulty as an orientation point to help guide your path forward from a point of wisdom, from a point of deeper understanding on what it is that you truly value and what it is that you're truly trying to work forward towards at this moment. And it is creating a bit of a challenge. We see here that some of this Tower energy that we are experiencing at this time is potentially rising up from a point of confusion, of feeling some sense of confusion, potentially, again, either from pulling away from an offer or opportunity, or from not necessarily seeing one come towards you the way that you would ideally desire at this point. But not letting yourself get caught in that moment, not letting yourself get caught even under some of the emotionality that you're potentially feeling at this time, having hope for a different outcome. We see here that you're allowing this to move very rapidly. You're just moving forward from this point with a conviction not to let yourself get caught in points or situations that are going to make you feel that level of degree of uncertainty or unhappiness. There's a lot of driven conviction that we're seeing coming through right now in the cards. But what we love about this is that's a conviction that's coming forward right now from a place of deeper understanding, allowing that to be the alignment point, allowing this to be a moment that you're not getting yourself stuck or blocked. There's no blockage energy here, I need to point out. That's what's so lovely about this right now. There's zero blockage energy in the face of a tower moment, which frequently would cause blockage energy. Rather, what we identify is there's a blockage point that's occurring with the tower that's immediately leading to instant transformation, instant changes, with the conviction of not going back to circumstances or situations that you feel create these blockages. For masculine and feminine energy, this is that point of guidance, of even in the setback or the faces of opportunities not coming forward at this time, you are using this as a point of just continuing to move forward, which is what we really, really love to see, because these cards are coming out real. I mean, like, just the narrowing down on these cards right now is really, really lovely, because I got to point out, look where we started. We started here today with the tower, and now we're down to our 3 cards. And what 3 cards do we have here? We've got here, through a moment of difficulty, through a setback, through a hurdle. We've got High Priestess, 10 of Cups, Fool in its reversal. So what we're really seeing is this is wisdom and integrity coming forward even in the face of a difficult circumstance or situation, all for the sense of deeper healing. For feminine energy, this is requiring a certain level or degree of going into that higher alignment with your higher headspace, pulling out into space, not allowing yourself to get caught in the emotionality that you're currently feeling at this time, but rather allowing your intuition, allowing that higher self, allowing that higher understanding, that higher purpose to guide you forward from this point, all working to continue to manifest for your long-term goals and your long-term outcome, even in the face of situations or circumstances that may be causing some point of challenge for you at this time. Allowing any setbacks not to block your path at this moment, but rather to push you forward immediately in this point of higher wisdom, taking this moment, allowing it to be a leap of faith that is required, but one that you are doing from the most logical center that you can come up with, particularly for the feminine right now. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that, again, you yourself are also being challenged to a certain degree to stand in your integrity right now. You are also keeping your focus and goal towards those long-term outcomes, that long-term higher purpose, even in the moment of some immediate situations or circumstances that you may be feeling is creating a sense of a setback or a challenge for you at this time. Working either in collaboration right now with feminine energy that you recognize has this ability of keeping their own degree of calm and higher insight and intuition, even in the face of circumstances and situations that prove to be a challenge. Versus for the masculine energy that is not in union at this time, this could be a moment that you are working very hard to work towards a feminine energy that you feel has this degree or capacity of maintaining higher alignment even in the face of setbacks or situations. This is potentially for the masculine energy that is not in union right now, what you are trying to work to achieve at this moment, with a sense of, again, having experienced some kind of setbacks around this circumstance or situation during this moment, but not letting it effectively block you at this time, but allowing this to be that point that you are moving forward from this point or situation a bit wiser, with a bit more understanding, but keeping your own optimism and motivations clear, even in the face of some setbacks or situations. I will point out, for some of the masculine energy that's not in union right now, this could be feeling like some of this setback or situation has to do what you are effectively trying to put forward at this time, not necessarily being received, or accepted potentially from feminine energy that you feel is in this alignment or in this degree, because we are seeing here that masculine energy is working through some of these setbacks or hurdles at this time. And if you're not necessarily in union, this could be feeling some of that energy as you continue forward right now. But what we appreciate for both Matt and for feminine simultaneously, this is where we're seeing some of that Venus in retrograde coming to wave its head, right? Because for the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in union, we are not seeing these energies coming towards each other from a place of passion right now. I gotta point out, passion is not very much on the table right now. I'm not surprised to see it, my friends. Venus is in retrograde right now, okay? Feminine and masculine energy are moving from a space right now that does feel like there is this degree of protecting the heart space, right? The heart space is clearly healing. From an emotional romantic perspective right now, for the energies that are not in union, this is effectively moving away from any point of crisis. Anything that you feel or recognize has been creating too much of a crisis for you at this time. And this is where we're seeing that some of your own optimism right now, potentially as it relates to romance or relationships, is feeling some degree of struggle. For masculine and feminine energy that's going through this right now that is not in union, this is that moment that you are building right now a lot of care and degree in terms of working to manifest, working to really keep your focus right now on your higher aspirations, your long-term goals. You are letting yourself navigate out of situations potentially that you feel were not necessarily aligned to your highest path. And the reason we see that both for masculine and feminine right now, you are moving with such a degree of rapidness away from these is because you are allowing that point of guidance, even in the face of feeling some confusion about where it might lead, to be that internal work that you're doing in terms of really identifying what it is that you truly want going forward. And you are utilizing that recognition of that long-term goal or that long-term path for yourself to help you move forward, potentially even away from situations or circumstances that you feel were giving some indication that they were clearly not leading to that point. But with a lot of care, with a lot of consideration, and with a lot of wisdom, even as you take this leap of faith. For feminine, this is a lot of this internal journey that you're taking at this time. While for masculine, if you are in union with feminine energy, you are working to get a lot of this insight and help you as well to stay doubly enforced. This is like union-wise, this is like beautiful energy for the energy that's in divine union. While for those that are not necessarily right now, this could be feeling like a lot more of an isolating journey right now because masculine and feminine are not necessarily in the heart space place at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our High Priestess and the Ten of Cups. So for feminine energy right now, feminine energy is effectively like what we love about seeing this right now is feminine energy is literally just like lifting themselves out of any immediate circumstances or situations that they're experiencing present setbacks in. How is feminine energy doing that? Feminine energy staying in alignment with their higher self. Feminine energy is working right now not to be immediately swayed by something that is triggering their heart space, but instead they're holding very fast to their own internal higher insight, their own intuition, their own logic, with a deep concentration on the long-term goals and outcomes that they're trying to plan for themselves and those around them. For the feminine energy that is in union right now, this is working in collaboration with a masculine energy that is very, very much doing the same at this moment. While for the feminine energy that is not in alignment or in union right now, this is a moment that you are working right now to manifest this type of energy with you, that you understand you will not need to push or shove, you will not need to cajole, you will just recognize and identify that they have the same long-term path and goal, which is why we see the feminine energy is not allowing themselves to get stuck in any circumstances or situations that they may be feeling a point of crisis on at this time. While for the masculine energy at this moment, you are simultaneously, again, if you are in union or partnership right now, you are working with a feminine energy and you guys are doing the work of two. You are both in the same exact space. You are working from a very strong, logical, specific place right now, keeping your long-term goals and manifestations in alignment. While for the masculine energy that is not in partnership right now or in union, what we really see is happening is you are working to manifest this type of energy towards you right now of a feminine that is simultaneously also able to maintain this same degree of calm under pressure, this same degree of insight, even in the moment of difficulty, as you yourself work to continue to manifest this long-term path for yourself going forward as well. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. What did I say with passion not being on the table at the moment? This card, I gotta tell you guys, this guy does not want to stay in the deck. So this has been feeling a bit more difficult for the masculine energy because we've been seeing this going back and forth right now. For masculine energy right now, some of this setback that you're feeling right now has or potentially is related to your own passion, your own communication. So even right now for the masculine energy that's working in partnership at this time, you are trying to keep your focus right now on that long-term path, that long-term goal going forward. You are either, if you're working right now, if you are in partnership, you're working simultaneously with a feminine energy that potentially is also in alignment in this degree. But we're also recognizing to a certain extent that there is something here that you are feeling some kind of setback as it relates to your own passion, your own communication at this time. This could be working through or having some help right now from a feminine energy to help you navigate your own feelings of difficulty as it relates to being able to communicate or go forward at this time. And this could even be a passionate blocker as well. But what we see for the masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership at this moment is you're navigating this space with a higher aspiration in terms of the long-term outcome that you're working to achieve at this time. Okay? While for the masculine and for the feminine energy that is simultaneously also in this space, even for the energies that are in partnership at this moment, feminine energy, there's kind of a sense right now of feminine energy kind of navigating masculine away from them, to the extent that there isn't a lot of like passion coming through here today for the feminine energy. This is that like Venus in retrograde. This is that Venus in retrograde energy that we saw the other day, especially if you guys remember, we got that Empress who was in their transverse. This is feminine energy, maybe effectively not necessarily being in a space right now where they're feeling particularly passionate or romantic because they're in more of this higher headspace point. But again, this is working right now with a masculine energy that is either simultaneously also experiencing this at this time and acknowledging it, because you guys are effectively not necessarily worried about it because you're concentrating on that long-term path going forward. But you're also lending support right now to masculine energy that may be feeling some of these blockages as it relates to communication and as it relates to passion at this time. For the masculine and feminine energy right now that is not in partnership, this is going to feel much, 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 much different, okay? Because what we're really identifying right now, for masculine and feminine, there is a moment that there is a equal point that's happening. There is alignment here happening. And you guys always say to me, they're like, when are these energies coming into alignment? This is pretty close to alignment, but you guys don't want the energy in alignment, because when the energy is in alignment, there's no activity, because they're moving on like parallel planes, okay? They're moving on parallel planes. So there's not an interactive point because they're both in a space right now where there's not that point of engagement that's happening. For the masculine energy that is not in partnership right now, there's a moment that you are navigating through some hurdles and difficulties, potentially even related to a feminine energy that you're not necessarily seeing that romantic movement from. Why aren't you seeing the romantic movement from the feminine masculine energy? Because the feminine energy is simultaneously going through the same, but they're doing it isolated from you. So you guys are both in the same exact energy, but there's no engagement point because you're both working from a space of higher logic, of higher intuition, masculine standing in their integrity, feminine's using their logic and higher headspace right now. You're both focusing on your mutual goals at this time. And masculine right now is having a problem because some of the crisis point that they may be experiencing right now has to do, as I've been saying over the last few days, with the feminine energy that has been in this space. They've been probably giving some exterior feeling of coldness, of distance, of isolation, right? Masculine energy is feeling the doubts or the fears about whether they can come towards a feminine energy in this way from a passionate way, maybe even feeling some sense of active rejection right now at this point of approaching feminine from this direction. For some of the masculine energy right now, this is allowing you to employ different tactics or move from a point of wisdom at this moment, even as you are going forward from this point. But masculine energy right now is at a point that some of the crisis that you could be feeling if you're not in union right now could be feeling like some of this feminine energy that, again, you are trying to move towards right now is holding you at a distance, or they feel somewhat isolated, or you have some degree or issue about how to communicate with them at this time. And this is very problematic. Why would this be problematic for a masculine energy that is not in partnership right now? Because you're working right now very much in line with your long-term goals and your long-term outcome. So for some of the masculine energy right now, this is either working to achieve or to find or to manifest this feminine energy that has this ability towards you at this moment, but feeling somewhat blocked or unsure about where you can find it at this time, or simultaneously working right now from a place where you recognize that there is a feminine that you deeply want to be able to move into union with, but you feel like this feminine energy has put you off at a distance, because the feminine energy is not in a space where you can come towards them from just a passionate degree at this time. While for feminine energy that is not in union at this time, this is a moment that you are working very hard in staying with alignment with yourself. Feminine energy that is not in union right now or in partnership is working very much in staying in their higher alignment, focusing on their long-term path going forward and pushing away any masculine energy that they feel is not necessarily coming forward in a consistent fashion, or is only invested or interested in them from a place of passion. This is why we see the feminine energy potentially moving away from any tower situations or anything they feel might invite a tower in. Because what does feminine energy think that a tower moment might come from? A masculine energy only coming towards them from a place of passion, okay? Continuing to get clarification for these cards right now between our 10 of Cups in combination with our Fool card in its reversal. So feminine and masculine energy working right now with a lot of care and consideration in terms of taking some leap of faith for themselves at this moment, allowing this to be a kind of a leap of faith that you're taking, but with a wisdom from the past coming into play. Utilizing, and this is what we really appreciate about this right now, utilizing this moment, any sense of crisis as you're feeling, not as a blocker, but to help you reorient in terms of what that long-term goal or outcome is for yourself as you go forward from this point. Navigating from a point of taking a leap of faith, doing some things, allowing this transformation to occur, but with the wisdom and the insight that you have gleaned from past experiences, and with a motivation of not going back to circumstances or situations that have caused that degree of difficulty for you from the past. May I please have one card to clarify? Whoop! Oh my God, I can't make this up. We've got, look who decided to show. We've been getting this combination, guys. We've been getting this combination ever since Venus went retrograde. We just keep getting this combination. What is this combination that we're seeing? This is a little bit better, I have to say, because the other day we had both of these in reverse, which was like not what we want to see. This is just further confirmation for what we've been seeing in the cards today, because what we're really identifying that's occurring right now for the feminine energy is just not in the space where they're keeping their heart space very open right now. Feminine energy has effectively closed their heart space down for a certain degree. Why is the feminine energy closing their heart space down to a certain degree? Because they've been triggered from situations or circumstances from the past rising to the surface that didn't necessarily lead them to the most positive outcomes. Feminine energy is working right now to heal their heart space. So feminine energy has effectively closed their heart space off to a certain extent right now as they try to move forward from a space of logic and from a space of higher intuition. This is almost like a necessary act right now for the feminine as they allow themselves to move away from situations or circumstances that have caused them pain. Because what we're really identifying right now is that there is something that is emotionally connected to the feminine towards some of these circumstances or situations that they're moving away from. Feminine energy has to effectively close their heart space down to a certain degree as they proceed forward from this point, utilizing this logic-based approach to help navigate their actions going forward, all with the goal right now of keeping their focus on their long-term path and the long-term outcome that they're working to achieve at this time. This is how feminine energy is navigating any feelings or sense of crisis at this moment. While for masculine energy right now, this is again either working with in union or in partnership with the feminine energy that you recognize is in this space right now. They might not necessarily, you might be noticing that the feminine energy might not necessarily be their most open, voluptuous, romantic self at this time, because feminine energy is going through a lot of stuff right now that's requiring her to effectively lock down her heart space to a little bit. And because of this, there is this moment that you are, and I will say, for masculine energy that's in union right now, this isn't necessarily a problem because you're very much in the same space. For the I gotta say, these cards are very much in alignment in terms of the masculine and feminine being in the same energy right now, just in different ways. The masculine energy is also kind of at that point right now where this isn't necessarily, I'm gonna say it like this, romance isn't necessarily the top priority right now for masculine energy or feminine energy if you're in partnership. There's a lot of higher thinking that's going through right now as you try to navigate and mitigate some feelings of crisis or trauma that are rising up. But the masculine and the feminine energy that are in partnership right now, you're doing this as a joint effort. You're having that higher union that's allowing this work to proceed forward with that insight, allowing the support from each other to guide your path forward as you take this leap of faith, but with a lot of unified wisdom as you go. While for the masculine and feminine energy that are not in partnership at this time, this is a lot of the work that you are doing for yourself at this moment. And this is why we're not necessarily going to see a lot of activity from either masculine or feminine at this time, because masculine is also in a space where they're feeling some of this passionate blocker as well. Masculine energy is feeling some of the passionate blocker as well if you're not in partnership right now, because you are recognizing that there's a feminine around you that you may be trying to move towards right now that is similarly not in a space that you can reach out to them from a place of passion. It's not necessarily happening. That there's something here for the masculine energy that could be feeling very tricky, because this is also that moment that we've been seeing, and I identified this a few days ago. We're seeing it continue here. Masculine energy is either looking towards a feminine right now that is feeling cut off or blocked to a certain extent. You're feeling some point of crisis potentially because you feel like you can't necessarily reach this energy. But the feminine energy is in this space right now because they're navigating a point of higher alignment. They're allowing themselves to move from a logical center instead of the heart-based approach right now as they move for their path going forward. So feminine energy is effectively only allowing in masculine energy that they feel they can trust, that they feel that stands in their integrity. They're not necessarily open to anything that feels like it's coming towards them from a place that feels more romantically led or only based on desire, and isn't necessarily keeping a focus in terms of the long-term goals and outcomes going forward from here. For some of the masculine energy, this is a moment that you yourself are moving away from a feminine energy that you recognize is potentially in this space, or you're feeling some sense of potential even rejection right now from a feminine energy that you may be interpreting is in this space. The other problem, though, we're recognizing here for the masculine and feminine energy, they're not in union, is the way that feminine is behaving right now isn't necessarily because of a lack of care. I'm going to say it for the people in the back. It's not necessarily because of a lack of care. Feminine energy has lots of caring. Feminine energy has lots of emotions. Feminine energy has lots of love. But what feminine energy is working on right now is making sure that their feelings of emotionality are not leaving them or driving them into spaces or places that are not healthy for them to be in. Feminine energy is being very careful right now about where they invest their emotional side, not necessarily in relation to the way that they feel about the masculine energy coming towards them, but rather whether there is this long-term goal and path clarified as it relates to going forward. Feminine energy is not allowing their emotions to dictate their movements right now. They're allowing their higher logical center and a focus on their long-term path, their long-term goal, their long-term happiness to be that point of calibration. So for the feminine energy right now that is not in partnership, this can feel kind of disassociative right now. This Venus in retrograde could feel, even to a certain degree, like you feel disconnected or disassociated from your emotional center at this time. But recognizing the difference and value of this is because the feminine energy, as we would expect during a Venus in retrograde cycle, has kind of like gone dormant right now. Why is the feminine energies going dormant? To heal their heart space. Why is the feminine energy's heart space healing? From past trauma, or from the re-triggering of past traumas coming to the surface right now. This is how feminine energy is addressing any of that trauma. But what we appreciate about this is feminine energy isn't shutting down in the face of those traumas. Feminine energy is moving into their higher logic-based center, all in an effort to heal. And that is what we deeply appreciate. The masculine energy that's recognizing this, you may be doing this to yourself to a certain degree and capacity at this moment. The difficulty lies in whether you are identifying that the feminine energy is doing this at this moment, or if you are taking this as an act of a rejection, which could potentially be happening at this point, which is either, again, causing the masculine energy to be in a space where the only way connection can be possible is if you show a way to stand in your integrity at this time, in the face of this lack of alignment, in the face of this emotional closing, or if you're going to effectively decide to potentially just move away from this, because that ability to be open to that degree you feel isn't available to you at this time, or is posing too much of a challenge. Final cards. Final cards for today's spread, okay? Between our Knight of Wands in its reversal and our Empress in its reversal. Guys, if I could take two cards to identify the Venus in retrograde more, I couldn't. These are our two cards for the Venus in retrograde. This is exactly what I would expect to see right now. If we're going to say, if you want to see if these energies are in alignment, the answer is yes. This is very much the same. This is the same vibe on either sides right now, masculine or feminine. Feminine energy right now, going through a moment where, again, they're feeling disconnected from their emotional center. A lot of it's because they're moved into this higher logic-based approach. Feminine energy isn't necessarily available from the more passionate romantic side right now, because they're doing a lot of this work on healing their heart space in this time where there has been some triggering situations or scenarios coming into the fold. Masculine energy right now is pretty much in the same exact spot. Masculine energy isn't feeling particularly passionate at this moment. For the masculine and feminine energy that is in collaboration and partnership and union at this time, this is a shared moment. You guys kind of understand where you're both at this time, but you're not necessarily worried about it because you're keeping your focus on the fact that, things will be better tomorrow, if you will. Well, for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in partnership, this is very frustrating. Because what we really see here is masculine energy is, again, either employing one or two moments. For feminine right now, feminine energy is effectively closing off their heart space, and they're working very carefully not to allow in, as we've been seeing over and over and over again, as soon as this Venus in retrograde cycle started, not allowing in masculine energy that feels like they only come towards them from a passionate point, is only looking to passionately connect with them, isn't showing a degree of consistency, of communication. Feminine energy is effectively rejecting that type of energy right now, only working to manifest masculine energy, standing in their integrity, even in the face of difficulties or hurdles. While masculine energy right now is working from a space that you could potentially be feeling, if you're not in partnership right now, that there is an object of your desire that is effectively blocked you. There's currently an active block, or there is an emotional block. There's also the frustration here for the masculine energy that's not in partnership, that you feel like it is hard to communicate with this energy, that the feminine energy does not want to communicate to you to some degree. And this is creating a simultaneous feeling of feeling passionately blocked right now, because you are working right now to want to move towards a feminine energy, and you are seeing them in this space, and you are either, again, trying to find new approaches to connect and communicate with them, or you are taking this as a moment where you are feeling some level of rejection and feeling like this energy is no longer accessible to you to some degree. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification with the Emperor. Clarification with the Emperor coming here. This is very interesting. We have here the combination of the Empress and the Emperor coming into play right now. So, for masculine and feminine energy right now, this will feel quite different. And if you are in partnership, this will feel quite different. For the masculine and feminine energy, that is in partnership, in union. There is a mutual moment right now where you are feeling you are both working to navigate some crises that are affecting some of your own passionate center right now. But it isn't necessarily a long-term blocker. You recognize that you're keeping your focus on longer-term plans and outcomes, and you're just utilizing your own joint efforts right now to navigate some of the experiences they're currently having right now that are posing or creating a sense of difficulty. What we appreciate here, for the masculine and feminine energy that are in partnership, the masculine energy, we see here that a lot of this work that you're working on right now is requiring you to have a lot of mastery of self. There are some feelings right now of feeling like there are some setbacks and hurdles that you're currently experiencing. And simultaneously, you are seeing the feminine energy that is simultaneously experiencing them as well. But masculine energy that is in partnership right now is really rising to that challenge. But recognizing that challenge is requiring a mastery of self, having to stand in your own power. How is the masculine energy in partnership doing so? By standing in your integrity, even in the face of difficult situations and circumstances. And for the masculine energy that is in partnership right now, even some of these immediate setbacks and hurdles that you're experiencing, you're getting them reflected right back to you from the feminine. You're not necessarily alone in this. You're getting that unified energy of support, even in a moment that you're both equally feeling the same thing, which is effectively leading the masculine energy into a place that is allowing this mastery of the self to come to the forefront and creating that sense of power to come back to the masculine energy. Feminine, for her part right now, that is in partnership, is feeling some of this anxiety, feeling some of these fears of the blocked heart space, but they're putting a lot of their weight right now and receiving active support right now as we started. From a masculine energy standing in their integrity, who's showing their own ability to work through these hurdles, but necessarily also stand in their power. So feminine energy is getting that immediate support from the masculine in partnership right now. For the masculine and feminine energy that are not in partnership right now, this is going to feel very different. For feminine energy right now, this is what we really see that is occurring. Feminine energy is effectively not necessarily completely blocking off their heart space at this time. Are they? No. Feminine energy is not blocking off their heart space at this time. Feminine energy, I'm going to say it for like the 90th time. I feel like this is all I'm going to be saying throughout the retrograde cycle that we are seeing. Feminine energy is keeping their heart space closed from masculine energy that is only coming towards them from a place that seems like it is serving their own purposes, that is only about their own passion, that feels like it is not consistent. Feminine energy is not closed off to masculine energy. Feminine energy is not closed off to masculine energy unless she feels that it is coming towards her in this degree and capacity. Why? Feminine energy that is not in partnership right now is leaving herself waiting for a counterpart energy that is going to be an actual equal counterpart. And what does that look like to an empress? That looks like masculine energy that stands in their integrity, even in the midst of challenges, that has a mastery of self to help show the feminine energy that that is where they are coming from. Feminine energy is not blocked off from masculine. Feminine energy is closing their heart space. They're not allowing people into their emotional center. They're employing a logic-based approach to try to make sure that they are only allowing in masculine energy that is going to be an equal partner, that wants the same things, wants the same long-term plan and goal, and isn't just trying to serve their own passions, their own immediate goals, their own sense of passion as opposed to someone that is actually looking to be an effective partner for the feminine. For masculine energy right now, this is a moment that is causing some difficulty, because what are we seeing that's happening right now? We saw this in the cards over the last few days. Masculine energy came into emotional alignment, right? They came into emotional alignment in recognizing their feelings. They suddenly realized that their feelings, they are now feeling things around a feminine energy that is effectively holding them at a distance or has blocked them off to a certain extent. Masculine energy is either in one of two places right now. That is in partnership, trying to move back towards a feminine energy to communicate, but now finding that that feminine energy is effectively blocked to them to a certain degree. If not tangibly blocked, then emotionally blocked, because feminine is closed off their heart space. And so masculine energy right now is simultaneously in alignment with this feminine energy, even if you're not in union right now, because masculine energy, I think to a certain degree, what we're seeing here, recognizes the fact that the feminine energy is blocking them off. This is really showing to a certain degree that the masculine energy that's receiving these messages realizes that the reason the feminine energy is blocking them off is because the feminine energy believes that they're not coming forward in a consistent in a consistent way that shows integrity. And so the masculine energy right now is again either working in one or two places. This is either a masculine energy that is working very hard right now to come back in alignment with the feminine that has effectively blocked them off, that they recognize is effectively the counterpart that they would hope for, but they need to effectively show this feminine energy now that they are in that space and they can occupy this moment right now. While for the other part of the masculine collective right now, this is a moment that you are effectively feeling some sense that you cannot come into alignment with this energy, that this energy has just blocked you off, that there's something here that's requiring you to move away. And you're doing your most right now to find that sense of self-mastery at this time, to come into this for your own journey, even through a moment that you recognize that there is this cutoff from a feminine that you had hoped to be in alignment with that is now just holding you too far away for you to be able to do so. Bottom of the deck on this reading right now. Oh my goodness, what? Are you kidding? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so bottom of the deck on this reading right now, I mean, I'm not surprised. We've got our lovers in its reversal. We got our love. Why wouldn't we? What else? This is the icing. We had to put the cherry. This is the cherry on the cake of this reading right now. Yeah, these lovers are not in alignment right now. So again, for masculine and feminine energy, that is in partnership right now. We're even seeing that today, at least from like a bit of the romantic side of things, there are some challenges coming into play, even as it relates to the relationship, right? We're seeing here that there's some feelings of crisis, of things that have to be mitigated and managed. There's a lot of work that we see for the masculine and feminine energy, even if they're in partnership right now, of really just trying to address things in the moment that they're occurring, to try to address any of these issues that you're experiencing. It's not leaving much room for the partnership, is what we're really seeing here for the masculine and feminine that are not in partnership right now. There's a moment right now that could be feeling some sense of disconnectedness today as you try to navigate these situations, but most a mutual recognition of experiencing this at the same time, right? There's almost like a group understanding for the masculine and feminine energy that's in partnership right now, that some circumstances at play do not leave a lot of room for the partnership to be at the forefront right now. While for the masculine and feminine energy that are not in partnership right now, this is problematic. Talk about partnership. I get booted as I'm like trying to talk about this. Yeah, it's fine. It wasn't frozen. The app crashed on me. We crashed the app, everyone. Congratulations. All right. As we were continuing, as we were saying, the challenge here for the masculine and feminine energy that is not in partnership is the fact that there is this moment that is coming to the surface right now that is really identifying the fact that For masculine and feminine right now, there's this moment that is kind of like leading to like a feeling of saying like, maybe partnership just is not in the book for me. Maybe partnership is just like not the way that you go. This is like that Venus in retrograde, like rising up to the surface, because like what we're really seeing here for the masculine and feminine energy that's not in partnership is like the fact that like the masculine feminine energy that's not in partnership is so worried right now in taking care of these sense of crisis on their own, that they're even questioning like just partnership in general at this point. They're asking themselves like, do I need it? Do I want it? Is it ever going to be available? Feminine energy is just like working from this like higher logic place where their emotionality is like very much cut off at this time. Masculine energy right now is like just working to like address some feelings of crisis at this moment, potentially trying to get back in union or in connection with the feminine energy that is just holding them off at quite a distance at this moment. And it's making there be a much deeper conversation about partnership in general at this time that is proving to be a bit of a challenge. So that is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it with me. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Also, please keep in mind, if you book a reading on my site, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading and you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a personal reading. I will never inbox you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very special message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me and sharing this reading, and we will do this again tomorrow.